Hey listeners, welcome to Straight Wife Trans Life. I'm Lisa, and I need to come clean. In the last episode, my spouse and I recorded the day before her facial feminization surgery. And I didn't tell you how I really felt because I didn't want to make her feel bad since she was going into this huge life-changing surgery the next day. So I made it sound like it wasn't that big of a deal, just another hurdle in this transition, but FFS really caught me off guard, even though I knew it was coming. I would start crying at random times. I would be at a stoplight or about to enter the grocery store and had to take a moment and pull myself together. I would forget what I was doing or looking for because I was trying to process this idea of a new face on the former version of the person I married. This whole transition is often a teeter-totter of emotions. On one hand, I want my spouse to be who she needs to be, but then on the other hand, each new piece to this transition takes away a piece of the person I fell in love with. And it hurts. It really sucks. But what makes it hurt less is that I know my life is better with my spouse in it. And what is really interesting and also surprising is that after the surgery, a calm has kind of been restored. All the concerns and worries and hurt have disappeared mostly because I see as my spouse's face heals that this really is who she is meant to be. And yeah, it sucks for me, but it makes absolute sense for her and I see it. Now it's time to hear how post-surgery looks and feels for her. And until next time, take any big stuff one day at a time. Welcome back to my spouse.
Hello.
I think you're going to be a regular on the podcast.
Yay!
And with that being said, let's get right into the questions about post-facial feminization surgery. How did you feel when you woke up after surgery?
I actually was on the operating table, worried about the surgery and arguing with the doctor, or not arguing, but asking a lot of questions about some medication I was supposed to take according to what their instructions said, and I did not receive that medication, and I was very worried about everything going right. And all of a sudden, I just opened my eyes again, and I am in this dark room where my face feels weird, and everything is dark, and I am in a bed that is not the bed I was in before. And I was just surprised that I made it. My cell phone was next to me on the recovery room, and I pulled it out, put it on selfie mode, and looked at myself. And I just had this shooting euphoria going through me. I was very swollen, so I didn't quite recognize myself. But what I didn't recognize was a guy. I did not see the features that would make me look manly. I didn't see them anymore, and that felt unexplainably great. Okay. And then I needed to send a message to you and my mom that I was awake again and that everything seemed to have gone well.
Yeah, I received a call from the nurse because I wasn't there, and the nurse handed the phone to you, and I didn't understand a word that you said because you were still heavily medicated. So that was a fun conversation. How has the recovery been? Any surprises? Or were you well prepared either from reading things in forums or from all the information that you received from the surgery center? So how has that been?
I was not well prepared for the recovery. I read a lot of testimonials, but I did not read about the parts that are uncomfortable about this. I never had surgery before. And so I didn't understand the recovery, that certain things don't work or just take a while to work, like eating. I had a lip shortening, and then I could not keep food inside my mouth or eat with my mouth closed. And that went on for weeks. It wasn't fun. But other than that, I think the recovery hasn't been that terrible.
And how many procedures did you have?
I think I had 11 or 12 different procedures. I only requested 2 or 3, but as I asked the doctor, well, what do you recommend since you're the specialist for me to look female or undistinguishably female? He recommended one thing after another, after another, after another, and I think he hit it right. I do see my face is balanced and it doesn't look male, and that makes me really happy.
How has the process of inflammation been for you?
Pretty awful. I have been very swollen, inflamed. I brought this up with the medical team that did my work, and then they said, usually it goes away in like a week and a half, like the heavy inflammation, but you had so much work that it's going to take much longer for you. And I just felt bad about it. I thought they were just trying to avoid responsibility or something, but nope, they were right. I do feel better. I did have more work than all the people I saw around me. But yeah, inflammation has been awful. I had some unexpected side effect of messing up with my eyesight. That was very difficult at the beginning, but is healing up. My inflammation is going down, and my eyesight is almost back to perfect as it was before. Mm-hmm. It's just slow, and it's very easy to lose patience. I had double vision, like sideways double vision, some really weird thing. When I was recovering, I couldn't even watch TV comfortably. I had to like close one eye because otherwise I would see things, I don't know, like very strangely double vision with one eye looking like in an incline. So that wasn't fun. Not expected at all. Actually, for the inflammation, I was given some amount of drugs that were supposed to last me enough to get better, and then I had to call the doctor's office to ask for more because I had gone through all the medication and my inflammation was still very, very high. But I think now I'm at the level I was supposed to be, I don't know, I think about a month ago or something.
It is nice that you have been able to avoid narcotics. So that's a big one because sometimes they'll prescribe you oxy, and they did prescribe you oxy, but you didn't have to touch it, and that's really nice.
I have to say I did not have actual pain throughout the whole process, just here and there sort of nerve pain, but I didn't have pain. I've heard of people that say that it's really difficult to eat the first week or so because they shaped my jaw to make it smaller, like a lot more feminine, softer, and that didn't hurt for me. It was just a little bit annoying, but I never felt actual pain. I'm like very afraid of pain. I thought I was gonna run for this oxy or whatever other painkillers, and I didn't. I actually would wake up in the morning after all the drugs were off throughout the night, and I wouldn't have pain. I would just feel strange on my face, or a little bit paralyzed on my face, but no pain.
Mm-hmm. I think you're very lucky. It really depends on the person and how they feel and the level of pain that they have.
Yes, I've heard some horror stories. I was really, really afraid, and fortunately, I haven't experienced that.
How do you feel about how you look now that you're almost 2 months post-surgery?
I am actually much happier than I was at the beginning because my face was super swollen, so I could not tell how I looked. I just looked like a big bubble or something. I just saw some photos you took of me today at a restaurant, and I was very happy to see how I look. This procedure usually takes about 9 months to really show the results, but at this point I am really happy with the results. I know they will change a little bit, but I am happy so far.
Well, I think this probably goes without saying, but do you feel more confident, and what makes you feel confident?
I think at this point I feel a lot more confident because I don't feel like I'm gonna be found out. That is very stressful for me, or has been before, but as I see myself on my reflection on windows or mirrors as I go through the world, I see myself and I don't see a guy, and I get a lot more confident like the next second I see that result. So that's really interesting.
What I see is with each change or each piece of this transition coming together, it all feels much more complete. How you look, how you sound, all comes together to make this woman. And it's just been a fascinating process from where I stand. So my final question is, do you have any regrets with FFS, knowing what you know now?
I have seen a few photos of myself here and there before surgery, and I think that guy like wasn't bad looking, but I didn't feel comfortable or happy. Like I didn't feel I wanted to take care of myself, for instance. And now I do. I love it. I feel great about it. So I don't have a regret on that. I think like every woman now, I think like, oh, I would like to have this feature or that feature that that pretty girl has. But I think that's normal. No regrets. No.
Yeah, I've been impressed. Going back to what I was saying about the transition sort of turning into this full woman, it's been interesting to watch you begin with weight loss and then maybe learning how to do your hair and makeup. And now you just have truly blossomed into the same person, but also a different person who now that I've gone through this, really feels like the person that you were always meant to be, which is not something that I thought I would be able to say. And I'm happy that I can say that. It does feel like you are the person that you're meant to be. And on that note, I look forward to having you as a guest again in the future. And thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.